Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gbemi, and this is my channel, Gbemi Up Close. So I today is it's kind of has been a long time, um this is time, Sha, to record the video about talking about the rigors of building a of doing my PhD and also like having a family. I know I've like touched on it like in several other videos like talking about it, but I think today I actually want to dive into the reality of it all. Yeah, so let's get started. So first of all, I started my PhD back in 2023. I came from Nigeria to the US to do my PhD in mechanical engineering. And at that time, so the time I came, I was unmarried, although I was with my now husband, then boyfriend, for maybe like 7 years before that time, before we got married. So we got married in 2023, just a few weeks after I got to the US. And I think we recorded a video. I'm going to put that linked, about how we were able to get married on a budget. So anyway, we got married 2023, and the same year I also started my PhD. And PhD is, if you're in a PhD program, it's stressful. It has its own like challenges to it. You have to be like doing research. You have to be doing literature review, reading papers and everything, doing experiments. Some things will work, some things will not work, and you just keep iterating and keep moving forward with it. So that's like PhD. Now on top of that, you have a child. So honestly, my first child was not planned, because I think I recorded another video. I'm going to keep referencing like other videos so I don't have to give like a backstory. But I had a health issue with PCOS, battling PCOS, and my husband and I had to work on like our diets and our lifestyle, and eventually I got my period regularized and I was able to have a child. So I had a child. It was not planned, so it came out as a surprise to the both of us. But it was like, okay, we're not actively preventing it anyway, so it's fine. We'll just move forward from there. So that was like the thing. That was the thing for us. Just that's like, okay, it has happened. We'll move forward. So I had my son in the and that was like the first year of my PhD. I got pregnant. So the second year of my PhD, I had my son, and yeah, it was a challenge, because you have expectations as not just as a PhD student. So first of all, I think there were some things that were stacked in. The things that were stacked in my favor, also things that were stacked against me, because at the time I had my son, at the time I was pregnant, I was the only PhD student in my lab. So, which means that it was just less for my advisor and I to like figure out how the lab was going to be run. And as the only PhD students, and the only students in the lab, like almost all responsibilities were resting on me. So, I had to figure out how I was going to be able to managing my pregnancy and also being a student. And why I'm touching on this subject precisely is because I've been meeting people lately, especially like graduate students that are either married or plan to get married, and are thinking about like when is the right time to have a child, especially like if you didn't have a child before your PhD and like you're in your program, it's like, when is the right time to have a child? And obviously there's no one size fits all answers. So I'm just sharing my own experience, and then you can decide whether it's something you want to do or not. So so when I had my son in like during the summer of 2024, and the US does not have like maternity leave. So like in Nigeria you have like maternity leaves, but here they don't give you. There's no like federally mandated maternity leave. So it's up to your employer to give you maternity leaves. And I know that sometimes they have this FMLA, like family leave or something that people take, but because I'm not a citizen at this time, and at that time I'm F1 student and everything, so I was not privy to all those kinds of benefits. So I didn't have those benefits. I could not take a gap year because of my visa status. So it was just like, you had to see this through. So I had two options. It's either I stick through this whole being a student thing and having a child, or drop out and go back to my country. So those were the two options I had. So that's obviously not many options, because the truth is that I was looking back, that did I tough it out because I wanted to or because of the circumstances? And definitely it was because of the circumstances, not really because I felt like I was a tough person, or I felt like I could see things through in that sense. So I had my child, and the first few months was rough, very rough. Because like, if you've had a child, you know, one thing that I was not told until I actually had the child was how often they feed. I didn't know. It was when I had the child, they were like, you have to be feeding them every 2 hours. I was like, even in the night? They said yes. I'm like, okay. So because I wanted to breastfeed my child, so I had to feed on demand. So which means, depending on anytime the child is hungry, you wake up to feed. It does not matter if you just fed them 30 minutes ago. Once they want it, they want it. So yeah, so the first few months, it was like I was barely sleeping. I was like a walking zombie, because it was just like, I'm not sleeping, and I have a child. And at that time, because it was just my second year of my PhD, I had coursework. So I was doing coursework, I was doing research and everything, and I had this little child it was my first child. So I'm also learning on the job. I had no clue on motherhood. There was nobody to help me. My parents could not come because of, again, we are students, we have visa restrictions, we have like any restrictions, like we don't have that much money to spend on somebody else coming to live with us to help us, or the whole visa process for somebody else, and like a dependent. So my husband and I just had to figure it out. So, and it was very difficult. I won't lie. Like I told someone that I'm not going to lie to anyone and say, oh, it was easy. It's just a few months, because I'm a kind of person that once I work hard at something, my reward is to sleep. And you know, when you've gone to work, because the nature of my research is that I have to work in a lab. So I don't have that kind of luxury to like sit down with my laptop and maybe be on my laptop so I can work from anywhere. So I have to be physically present in the lab to do my work. So the first few weeks I had to take I had a maternity leave of 4 weeks. So at the end of the 4th week, I got an email from my advisor, come back to work, or like I had another option to either extend it by another 1 month and get an unpaid leave. So, and obviously I cannot afford to have unpaid leave. But how much is the money that we are getting? And I didn't have any savings to like fall back on. So I was forced to go back to, I'll tell you, like I was forced to go back to work because I had no other option. So I went back to work after my child was 4 weeks old. I had to go back to work. So my husband and I were juggling, like taking care of the child. So if I have to be on campus, maybe from certain time to certain time, he will be with my son, because I cannot take my son to the lab because I was working with lasers and everything. So sometimes my husband, if he has to be on campus, he will have to bring our son to campus. And sometimes there was even a time I had to just buy another bassinet and put it in my office, because it was like if my son wanted to sleep or something, like I have the bassinet already. So I had the bassinet in my office. And then luckily for anyway, it's compulsory for workplaces to have lactation rooms. So if I want to breastfeed, I'll go to the lactation room. If I want to change his diaper or something, I'll go to the lactation room and then bring him back to my office. So he will sleep. I'll continue my work if I had to work in the office. But if I had to go to the lab, my husband will come in and take him. And because sometimes maybe my husband can stay home, I'll pump breast milk and my husband will do the feeding from home. So, like I said, the first few months was rough, especially because of the breastfeeding thing, having to wake up in the night. I was barely sleeping. Sometimes I'm fully awake by 2 a.m. Like maybe I'll sleep by maybe 11, 12, and I'm awake by 2. So I was hardly sleeping. I think if I get 4 hours of sleep in a day, it was a lucky day for me. So it was just 1 hour, 2 hours sleep. And usually I don't do well with having interrupted sleep. If I sleep for 2 hours and I'm interrupted, I can't really go back to sleep and sleep again for another 2 hours, just be interrupted again. So I just stay awake and not sleep. So sometimes I'm just awake. Sometimes I will rush back to the lab, like midnight. I'll go back to the lab to see what I can do, then come back to the house. And when the semester resumed, like for the fall semester, my son was still breastfeeding, but around that time he already got into daycare. So we had to put him into daycare because it was not feasible for my husband and I to be doing that running around. It was doing a lot taking a toll on us. So we're like, okay, put him in daycare. So he was in daycare when he was 10 weeks old. Was when he got into daycare, which was a relief for us because we're like, okay, fine. From 8:30 to 3:30, at least we can focus on our work, and then we figure out the rest later. So he was in daycare, which really helped us. So all I just needed to do was just to pump. So I had a breast pump in school. I'll pump like every 2-3 hours so that I can send it to daycare with him the following day. So that was my life. And I think because that time, I think one of the courses I was taking had like an 8 a.m. class, I believe. 8 a.m. class. So most of the times my husband is the one that does the drop off, like dropping our son to daycare, because I would have left very early in the morning to get to class, and I'll be in school until time to pick our son up. Then I'll come and pick up and everything. And so it's like I said, it was like even just the whole recovery process and just adjusting to the whole motherhood thing was challenging. So, but anyway, we did it. We didn't have a choice. We didn't have much of a choice anyway. So we had to just see things through. So fast forward to and also I think my advisor was trying to be understanding, yes, but at the same time it's like, okay, you also need to be working. You can't use the excuse of you're having a child or you have a child to be to fall behind in your research. So I understood that, and I was also trying my best to not be a cog in the wheel of the lab's progress. So I was trying my best to ensure that at least that part was not suffering. So that's why I said, like, sometimes I would not sleep in the night. I would just go to campus, and then I was trying to have a discussion with my advisor that, okay, I'm not sure working in the day works for me because I'm not sleeping at night, especially when my son was already in daycare. I was like, okay, I'm not sleeping at night because I have to be awake all night breastfeeding. Can I sleep in the day and work at night? Then he was like, okay, he understands that, but sometimes maybe he wants to give me an instruction and everything, and then I'm not there. I'm like, but I'm not sleeping. Like, at this point I'm going to crash. I'm going to like, I'm not sleeping. So I'm like, the only opportunity I have to like have full hours of sleep is during the day, since he'll be at daycare. That my son will be at daycare. I can sleep like during the day if I'm not having like morning classes, or maybe after my class I can just come back and maybe sleep, and then since I'm not sleeping in the night, I can always come back and do overnight. Since that I feel like that works. That would have worked better for me. But he said, okay, just try. He tried to give him credit. He was understanding and trying to like work with me, but at the same time also had to work with him to like also compromise on my end, that I cannot be sleeping throughout the day and not be like being able to interact with me when he wants to during the day. So there's some days I will have to actually be there on campus in the lab, and some days I'll be like, okay, let me sleep so that I can come back and work later in the night. So that was how I was able to survive that period. Obviously with the help of my husband, with the help of daycare. Like, I'm always so grateful to have that daycare thing running for us. So fast forward till now, I'm pregnant again with the second one. I would not say it was intentional, and I would not say it was unintentional, because again, we are not actively preventing a second child from happening. So you're having a second one, and things will be going. I've been going great, but I'm nearing the end of my pregnancy, and now the pressure is getting worse. Like, this is the end of my pregnancy. This is my 4th year as a PhD student, which means that I have a lot more things going on. Oh, luckily for me, I'm done with coursework, so I don't have that pressure of like going to class, attending classes, and reading for exams or doing homework. That one is off, thankfully. But I'm also a TA, so which means I have to assist with grading and everything. And I'm also doing research, which is understandable. So but again, my advisor, this time he has a child, so he kind of understands better now than he did when I had the first one. So he's been understanding, and also it's not just him being understanding. I also try to be understanding that, okay, he is, at the end of the day, he's still my boss, and he expects like me to deliver on some things. So I go out of my way to ensure that I'm able to do what I should be doing. Like last few weeks, especially like maybe if I have to drop off my son and pick him up, I know that my day is practically gone. So I try to make up for my work like over the night. Again, coming back to the whole overnight working. So sometimes I pull very risky all-nighters. I'll go from 9 p.m. and stay in school, like stay working in school till like maybe 6 or 7 a.m., come back home and still go back to school again, and those kind of things. So I was just pulling stretches, and then at some point I felt like, no, this is too much. Like, I have a child depending on me. I have a husband. Obviously, I have a husband helping me out as well. But I still have to take care of my child in some capacity, like maybe making his snacks, packing his lunchbox, and things like that. And I'm a TA. I have to do my TA obligations, like in grading. I also have to do my research, and also I am physically limited to a certain extent because I am getting tired. So when I pull the all-nighters, it's like my day is ruined and everything. So I don't want to turn this into a rant, because I don't want to complain, because I know that in a few years I'll look back and it will be like, okay, I'm happy I went through what I went through, and it will define who I will be in the future. But now it's stressful, and it's not fun. You know, some people will see and like asking you, how are you coping? I'm like, I'm hanging on by a thread, but I'm very grateful. I think not to turn this to like a gratitude speech, but I'm very grateful for having my husband and the kind of person he is. That he, you know, I was talking to some people, and just like reading people's stories, and you see some people, like I think I said this in one video, that have shadows as partners. Shadows meaning that their presence is seen but not felt, and like they're just partners, and they still feel like their wives or their partners should be 100% responsible for home like anything that has to do with the home, like dishes or cooking or taking care of the house, and also taking care of children, as well as doing their own things. And then they feel like because they are working, like that's all they have to do. So I'm very grateful for my husband. And when I tell some people that I don't remember the last time I cooked anything, they look at me like, oh really? Like he handles most of the cooking. I would say like 95% of the cooking he does that. So I don't have to worry about like cooking or food, especially with this pregnancy. Like maybe probably earlier before, you know, the time I was waking up in the night when my son was still like an infant, I was like, okay, I'm awake already. If I'm not going to the lab, I'll just spend the whole time maybe cleaning the house or cooking something. So I know that time I was really stretching myself but this time I'm like, even though I want to stretch myself, like my body is telling me that if you need to rest, you need this rest, especially because I know what having a child means now. No, the first time it was like, oh, I'm a macho woman, I can do it. And then when the reality hits you, and like, yeah, Is this what it entails? So now I know what it entails. I know that I'll be the one to be waking up most nights to take care of the baby when the baby gets here. So I'm like, I'm going to give myself all the break I can get. So I don't feel guilty anymore about like being not lazy, like maybe not doing as much as I should be doing if I was not in this situation. So, but I'm grateful for having an understanding partner, understanding husband, that he doesn't see it as me being lazy and everything. That he's always happy to help out when he needs to. Yeah. So this is my reality now. Do with it whatever you will. If it's something you feel like you can handle as a PhD student, then go for it. If you feel like maybe not, I don't have any advice to give, to be honest. Like I'm not sitting down here trying to advise you that have the child is the best thing that can happen. Is because if you're not strong enough. Okay, I don't use the word strong because that can also bring up a different connotation, because sometimes I'll have a feeling, especially when I'm feeling tired or feeling weak and everything. I'm like, I just recently had to send an email to my advisor that I'm sorry, I don't really see me in the lab. Like I'm really going through it right now, and I don't have to be honest and stop feeling like I'm not a macho woman. I can't do it all, so I need help. I think that's the advice that I'm giving myself this time, like this second time around, is that anytime help is offered to me, I'm going to accept it, no matter where it's coming from. So if the first time around it's like, oh, don't worry, if someone wants to like maybe asking like, oh, do you need food and everything, I'm like, no, it's fine. But now I'm like, bring it, I need it. Give me. So like now I'm actually accepting of help, and I'm also not shy to ask for help when I need it. So if I need grace, like I'm asking my advisor now that I need some grace, like I need some time to maybe just rest at home. I'm so tired, I can't really be on campus right now. I'm feeling somehow. I can ask for it now because I feel like, okay, I don't want to get to a point where I'm losing my mind, because it is hard. It's very hard. So I this time around, I'm giving myself grace, and I'm allowing myself to be human and not wanting to be like a superwoman. So no more superwoman thing for me, because it didn't work for me the first time. Like it led to a lot of burnout for me. It led to a lot of frustration for me. Like that was the first time, like I was crying almost every day, because it was like I can't handle this thing. It was very, very, very hard for me. But yeah, I feel like it made me. I learned lessons. I don't like to say it made me stronger. Not like I was weak before, but I learned lessons and I moved forward from them. So, and one of the lessons I learned is just being able to be vulnerable and allowing people to help you. Sometimes I have to ask I have a lab partner. I have to ask my lab partner that, please, can you help me do something? While before I would have been like, oh no, I would do it by myself. Don't worry about it. I can do it. But now it's like, I need people to help me, and I'm not afraid to ask for help. So sometimes like I'll just ask my husband, please, can you help me do this and do that? And he's like, okay, it's fine. I'll do it for you. And even when I'm outside and out and about, I'll be like, something drops, I'll look at it and then I'll be like, who can help me to pick it up? So it's not like I'm trying to be lazy, but I'm just trying to be human and accept help wherever it comes from. So if you have decided to, or you're deciding to have a child, like do your PhD program and everything, and that is something like you have decided on, it's not like something, I'm not telling you to do anything or not do anything. So, but if you have decided to do it, the advice I would give is that don't be afraid to be vulnerable and ask for help where you need it, or accept help when it's offered to you. Don't reject any help. Like even up to the fact that maybe my husband is like, oh, bring the baby and everything. I was like, oh no, don't worry about it. And then it got to like, it's grew into my son being very clingy, like very attached to me. And then we are not trying to now actively break that attachment. Like, okay, go out with your father. It's not just mommy all the time. So that kind of thing. So second time around with my next child, I'll be the one presenting the child to my husband. Take your child, and I'll go out and I'll not feel like, oh, I need to get back home on time. What's happening? Is he taking care of the child? So it's his child as well. So I have learned to not be so on top of things in that sense, and just allow people to do things the way they also want to do it, and trusting that they can do it, even if it's different from the way I would have handled things. Yeah. So that's my contribution for today. So building, being a PhD student, building a career, and also having children. Also, it is hard. I cannot say it's rewarding now because I'm not seeing the reward yet. But sometimes, just seeing their happy faces, just seeing it, you just go take it day by day. I think one thing I was saying is that I don't want my children to look at me and ask me down the line later in life that, oh, see what your other, not like they will say it, but like, see what your other people are doing, see how other people were able to, quote unquote, make it in life, and still they had children, and like, what are you doing, that kind of thing. So that has been the thing that's been driving me, that so I'll try my best as a parent, try my best as a career person. I'm almost done my PhD student, so hopefully next year I'll be done my PhD, and at least this whole phase of life would be gone. And I'm not sure going into the workforce is going to be easier or harder with children and everything. But anyway, we'll see. And hopefully I'll still have this channel going to be able to come back to account for what has been going on, to document my progress in life. Yeah, so for now I'm going to end things here, and if you have any questions, you can let me know. I'll answer whatever questions you have in the comments section below. So till next video, bye.